Welcome to Our Layered Life, where we talk with women business owners about faith, family, businesses, and every relationship in between. Here's the truth: women drive over $80 trillion in global spending every year, yet only 2% of those dollars go to women owned businesses. What if we took that to 5%? We could change the dynamics of our economy and millions of lives. One story, one layer, one woman at a time. Because her life is layered and her influence can change the world. Today, my guest is Kayli Baker, the woman behind the Nobby Gal. Now, years ago, 3 years ago, Kayli, actually, we just barely talked about this, but I had Kayli on. We were doing lives with influencers, and I can't even remember. I think we were starting our hit team, and so we were trying to bring all of the gals from Half T, our hit team from Half T, over and getting to know them a little bit better, and just interviewing them. And when we started the podcast, I said, guys, I know we already had Kayli on for a live, but we are definitely bringing her back on the podcast because she is the freaking bomb.com. Just human, just human. So Kayli has built a platform rooted in trust, faith, and real life, not by chasing trends, but by sharing what feels honest and grounded. She is deeply committed to her faith, actively involved in service, including regular work in prison ministry. Are you still doing that, Kayli?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I knew it.
Very regularly.
I knew it. Awesome. And she and her husband often use music as a central part of that service, creating connection and hope in spaces that are often overlooked. She is also in a tender, powerful personal season, currently pregnant with number two. Just discussed this too. She'll be 13 weeks tomorrow. Learning what it looks like to steward a platform, a calling, and growing a family all at the same time. Today, we're talking about influence, not as performance, but as stewardship, how faith shapes her work, how service keeps her grounded, and how she's learning to live her layers with intention. Kayli, thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much, Amanda. First of all, that introduction was so sweet. I'm like, now I have to live up to that and I have to like really, do so good on this so everybody believes everything you just said.
Well, they don't have to believe everything I just said, but I believe everything I just said. So that's all that matters.
That's so sweet.
So I want to know, how did the Nobby Gal begin? Let's just start from the beginning.
Yeah, so I would say it was probably about 7 to 8 years ago. I was following one modest fashion influencer. I found one on Instagram. And I was with my cousin that day, who's like my best friend. And I'm like, I think she actually introduced me to that influencer. And I'm like, I would love to do that one day. That'd be so fun. And she's like, just do it. And I was like, wait, no, like it wasn't like a reality in my mind that anybody could do that. And she randomly took photos of my outfit that day. We posted it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I got like 20 likes. Like I was so proud of it because, back in the day on Instagram, I just, a little teenager posting, you might have got like 2 likes on a post, 3 likes. And I was like, I got 20 likes. Like everybody in my family liked that post. And so I started regularly posting outfits on my personal page. And then I thought, you know what? I think I just need to make a separate account. So one evening I Googled what are cutesy, fun ways to say fashionable, and the word knobby pulled up. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay, I'm gonna
interesting.
be the knobby gal. And I just made an account like that after doing it on my personal account for a few months. So I made the account and that's where it began. It was
It's
mostly
stuck.
mirror selfies in my bathroom back then. So,
Well, we're currently looking for mirror selfies, aren't we?
oh, how fun.
Princess
Okay.
just sent me this, or didn't send me. We love this particular business and their email campaigns. And Princess is like, "This is what I want," and it's literally just mirror selfies of different people wearing the product. And I was like, "We can
Yeah.
get those
I
easy,
love that. It's so much easier. It is so
right?"
much easier than setting up like a tripod and trying to have a cute background and the perfect lighting. Yeah,
Right.
I love the mirror selfies. So,
Did you ever imagine this would turn into a platform, like a legit platform where you were
no,
having an influence?
no, not at all. I thought it was so fun for like girls in my church or like girls I know to be maybe able to like say, "Oh, that's where she got that dress. Now I can go buy it," or because I had people ask me like, "Where'd you get that dress? Where'd you get that?" Like, I love that. I just thought it'd be like girls in my church or in my personal life, like, "Oh, okay, I can now click where she got that." That's all I thought it would be. Really.
And look at you now. Now, this is not part of my questions, but I remember you going on like a break.
Mhm. I did.
right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit like why? Why'd you go on a break? Was it worth it? Are you glad you're back?
Yes, I am so glad I did it, but I missed it so bad. I will say I think everybody needs to do that. I can feel myself wanting to do that more often, maybe not for like as long a period of time, but I was just going through a lot. We kind of had like a lot of ups and downs during that time period. It just felt like my focus needed to be on my family, on my husband, on my church, on my personal life, and to get off the screen and stop worrying about what's my next post, who's my next collaboration, like, oh, I've got to post this unboxing video and like be worried about that instead of focus on my family. And my husband really suggested, like, I think you need to take a step back because I was sucked into social media. And he really suggested it. And then through counseling with my pastor, which is my grandpa, just about hard things I was going through at that time, he said, I think you need to stop social media for a while. And I was kind of like, no, 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 like, y'all stop telling me that. Like, I did not like hearing that. And then it took me a few weeks to kind of get used to the idea. And then I did it. And I was so glad I did. I mean, it was great. I really missed it, but it was also something I think everybody needs to do. So,
Awesome. Okay, for those listening, we got to tell everybody where they hear a cute little drawl in your voice. Where are you from?
that's funny because I don't think I sound Southern compared to people around me. But yes, we are in the center of North Carolina, and I don't hear it in myself, but I have some friends who are like, "Hey, y'all, like, I'm so happy to be here today." And I mimic their voice, and other people from other places tell me I don't hear a difference in what you're mimicking and what you talk like. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So, yeah, North Carolina, born and
I love
raised.
it. I love it. So tell me what kind of content felt the most natural to share at the beginning? Obviously, we already kind of know this, but why did it feel so natural to share modest looks?
Yeah, that is, I have always worn modest clothing. I was born and raised in my grandpa's church. He is very old time holiness. We dress very conservatively, and I never left that growing up and getting married. I never left that um, lifestyle. And scrolling through Instagram, that is not what you find, and that is not what you see. And I felt like, I mentioned that one influencer I followed. I felt like that was such a special, corner of Instagram to find that because I was like, "Wow, there are other girls who actually confidently and beautifully dress the way I want to dress," and you never saw that on Instagram. You never saw it. You saw it in your own home church, in your own little family, or if you visited a church, but you never saw on social media. And that felt so fun to be able to use that as kind of like a creative outlook. Um, and to be able to post photos of like outfits that I really liked that I was wearing at the time. And it became very natural. I've always been very into fashion since I was a child, so it just felt easy for me to do, and I felt like it was needed, and I still feel like it's needed. So,
Yes. So when did you realize people weren't just watching, but they really were listening and like actively looking forward to what you had to say and on
yeah.
modesty, on faith, on those sort of things?
Yeah, when DMs became, direct messaging became more of a thing couple years after. I don't remember like what year it was, but direct messaging was not a thing on Instagram when I first started. Stories were not a thing either. That came later. And when people would actually be messaging me and commenting, and I could tell that they had been following, like they would say things like, "Oh, I really like this dress too. I bought the one you posted last week." Things like that where I'm like, "Oh, wait, people are coming back." Like these aren't just random people coming across. So that was very encouraging. Like I felt like I was building a community, not just a following. And I feel like there is a difference there. So
I love that. How did you shift the way you started showing up online? Did that change how you showed up online when you started realizing people were listening and
it did. I started actually getting a lot more comfortable because I started feeling like I was building friends. Um, not just people on another side of a screen, but it was kind of like I would recognize profile pictures and usernames of people who were commenting or messaging me. And I started getting very comfortable. I am very comfortable talking to people and engaging in things, and it started becoming more and more comfortable online. So I would show up for a lot more than just posting an outfit. I'd be like, "You guys, can you believe this mess my house is in today? Here, I'm gonna clean it up. Let me give you some cleaning inspo." Like things like that. It like real life things are becoming a lot more frequent and comfortable. And from there on, I feel like picking up the phone to make an Instagram story was the same as like FaceTiming my sister to show her what I was doing. So,
Oh, I think that's actually that's a good lesson for us all that, especially us that are on social media, that when we start to post things that we would FaceTime our sisters about or
mhm.
our best friends about, that's when the content probably becomes super more relatable and connect.
Yes. Yes. That I think you can make a lot more connections, especially when you show the not so picture perfect parts of your everyday life, especially becoming a mom and just being a wife and just being a girl in general, just trying to make it through this life. I think people were a lot more, they could feel the relativity instead of just like the pretty outfits that maybe they didn't feel like they could pull off. Even if they drew inspiration from that, I think seeing the more real life things, I started building way more connection. So that was always fun.
I love that. How do you discern what to share and what to keep sacred? Like where are your boundaries there?
Yeah, I'm still learning. I look back on some things that I've posted even in stories in the past and I'm like, "Ugh, oh my goodness, like that was too much."
You remember like what was your latest? Why did I post that?
Oh, yeah, well, even things like sometimes I think it's my mood too. Like, do I feel more private today or do I feel like just spilling everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes sharing the mess and sometimes sharing like having a bad day, in the moment. Sometimes it feels right. I'm like, no, I'm not getting on the camera today. I think really you have to discern it day by day. But I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a boundary. I don't know if I'll ever fully know like what's too much to share and what could I share to be more relatable. I don't know if I even have an answer for that, to be honest.
I love it. I love it. It's true. I mean, I really do think you're right. I think it really is an everyday type of thing. And some days you're in a better mood than others.
Mhm.
And some days you're more, honestly, maybe you've had a little more connection with God and you're feeling a little more inspired that day. And then you'll
Yeah.
go a week and you're like, wow, I felt so inspired to share that. Now I feel like I've got nothing good to share, but
Mhm.
it really
Yes.
is a day to day, mood to mood type of
Yes.
scenario, right?
100%. That's
All right.
right.
I want to talk about faith, service, and family. Faith is one of your foundations, and your
Mhm.
faith is central to who you are. How does it guide your decisions both online and offline?
I think whether online or offline, that all runs hand in hand because who I am on Instagram is who I am off of my phone. I'm not a different person. I'm not a different personality. I don't have different convictions or whatever behind closed doors as I would, on the camera. I would say it determines different aspects because biblically, I want to live a biblical life, privately with just my family in our house and online when I'm trying to be an inspiration. So I would say even to the smallest decisions, it affects everything. And that maybe sounds almost like I'm living like in a cage to religion and it's not at all, but it's just yeah, I feel like it affects everything. That's not a separate category of my life, like my faith is not a separate category, like like, oh, I'm going to church today, so I'm gonna, worship God today. And then the rest of the week, it's like, you're just floating by. So I feel like it's an every single day. Like it's the same as like breathing the air. It's just it affects everything. So I'm breathing while I sleep and I'm breathing while I'm talking, I'm breathing while I'm playing with my daughter. Kind of the same like that. It's just always there. So it affects everything.
I love that. I love that it's so important to we had a awesome you work with her, Amy at Inherit Co.
Hmm.
But I loved her part where she talked about she starts every day with God, right? So that she can be ready and prepared. And she talks a lot about rhythm and finding the rhythm of our lives. And she just said, when God is a part of all the rhythms, we're able to show up significantly different. And I love that you are striving to make God so much a part of your life that it's
Mhm.
is as important and valuable as breathing itself is.
Right. Yeah.
How cool. That's it's a very powerful um, analogy. How do you stay spiritually grounded while living in such a public space?
I think that kind of relates even to what I was just saying. But also knowing that my relationship with God trumps everything else. They talk about that umbrella where it's God over the husband, over the wife, over the children. And then we could put like public social media appearances below that. Yeah, I think it really just to remember God trumps everything. He's above anything else. And that whether it's again going back to like small decisions or big things, I think it covers it all. So, yeah.
I love it. Tell me, I want to talk about your service and um, is your service within your church. I still remember stories that you were telling us about serving in the prison and music and all those sort of things. So I want to kind of go into that. And I want to know you spend time serving in a prison ministry,
Mhm.
something most people never see online. Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me how that's incorporated into your, service in your church, music. I just kind of go into that.
Yeah, so my grandpa, my mom's dad, is our pastor. And long before I was born, my grandpa was involved in so much outreach. He has the biggest heart of anybody. Like, I can honestly say I have never met anybody in my life with a bigger heart than my grandpa. And so him not only be my pastor, but also be my granddad, I kind of naturally just fall into different things he's doing. I live less than 5 minutes from him, go to his church. So we're always with him. And there's been different outreach programs that we've done, like we do nursing homes and do just different things. But the prison ministry, when he started getting my siblings and I, because we all play music, and my dad, when he brought us into a prison for the first time, it changed my life. I was like, this is not what I was expecting. And it really became something like personal to my heart, whether it's going with my granddad or my church, whatever. It's something personal to me now. And yeah, we got involved. I would say, I think the first year Sam and I were married, so 10 years ago, I think was my first time in a prison. And ever since then, it's been something so dear to my heart. And I love it. I will do it as long as God has the door open for us to do that. I want to be a part of that.
So tell me what it looks like. What does it look like the day in the life of taking music into a prison?
Yeah, so it's different sometimes. I don't always do music because we're not always doing church services. A lot of the times we are, but we have had the door open to sponsor classes within the prison, and these classes are helping men either overcoming addiction or there's marriage classes for the inmates who have wives outside. Um, and there's different classes that our church funds. We give the money to pay for the books and all the supplies. So sometimes when we're going in, we're actually going into those classes and we get to feed them a homemade meal. So I would say I serve homemade food to inmates more often than I'm even like playing music and stuff. Which
Okay.
is just I enjoy that just as much. I could not even tell you how many hundreds and thousands of men I have served homemade coleslaw and baked beans and different things too. So, but every trip into the prison is somewhat similar, but it's kind of depending on what we're doing. Whether, like, are we going in to do a church service where my grandpa preaches and then, like, I might do some music? Or are we going in to serve a meal, or are we going in to help? There's just different aspects of it. But regardless of what we're doing, if I'm serving a meal or if I'm, spotlight playing music, it doesn't matter. I enjoy it just as much. So, yeah, it's very different than what I think a lot of people picture it being. I've had so many people ask me, "Are you not scared going in there?" Or they've asked my husband, "Are you not scared taking your wife into an all-male prison?" It's like, "No, you guys have a Hollywood view watching movies of what prison is like." Yeah, it's very different than what people would picture, but we love it so much.
And what is it about it that makes it be that one thing that you would never give up if you didn't have to?
Because the grounds are so fertile, the heart, the grounds of these men's heart, the soil is so fertile for the word and for love and for somebody pouring into them. It's not a place that people often receive the type of love we give. We make personal one-on-one relationships with these men. We are going in and, like I said, serving homemade meals. We are really spending one on one time and connecting with them as if they're humans because they are humans. Some of them have made horrible mistakes, but so many of them have turned their life around. And I think seeing how hungry they are for the word of God and for just love from people, um, it's just a different atmosphere. And, you could go into any church in America, any great mega church, and, you could sing and preach and do all these things, but they get that all the time. So they might sit there like, oh, another person preaching the Bible to us, but the prisons don't get that. And they're
Sure.
so hungry for it, and you feel it. They cleave to us so much and they want us so badly. Not just because we're serving them, but because we're really showing true love. And to be able to serve that, it's like it fills your cup more than what I could even explain. So that's why I say, as long as that door is open, I will be stepping into it.
I love it. Is there any particular experience that you think back on and you're like, "Wow, that was that was incredible."
Yeah, some of the baptisms, we've done some baptisms in there, and my grandpa and my husband had the opportunity to baptize inmates in this big old metal trough. Some of those were so heartwarming. And then the church services where there are anywhere from 100 men to 300 inmates. I've had the opportunity to lead worship quite a bit, just me and a guitar singing. And it's like the second I start singing, the first word comes out of my mouth, all of them start singing out loud and raising their hands and closing their eyes. And they'll just be crying and praying. And you feel such an anointing and such a atmosphere of worship in there that I don't even feel in churches. And those are the moments that stick out the very most to me are, I would say those church services where they're just worshiping and praying and singing with us, that it's amazing.
Wow. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. So how is serving in places like these, because you do old folks' homes,
Mhm,
prisons, things like that, where there's really no applause, right? Like, it's
mhm.
not like I've never seen you shoot a video in the old folks' home singing. I've
No.
never seen you do, anything like that. How has
Mm.
that shaped the way you influence?
Yeah, it brings you and your heart and your ministry back down to earth. It makes it to where this is not for a picture perfect post. This is not so my friends can see, this awesome experience I'm doing or this amazing way I'm serving. We can't take a phone into the prison to video or to take pictures. That's not allowed whatsoever. There's been times, like I said, with those church services and hearing them sing, I thought, oh, I wish so bad somebody could be videoing this. Like, this is the best moment of my life. But no, you're not nobody can video, nobody can take pictures. This is one-on-one with these men, or if, like, we're in the nursing home with these people, and you're serving purely out of the love to serve. Nobody's going to see this. Nobody's going to know how great your efforts were. Nobody's really going to hear about it. It's not like the inmates can call my mom and be like, you should have seen your daughter, how well she's, no,
Right.
nobody's other than them, nobody's praising us for what we're doing. So it really just brings you back down to earth and say, why am I doing this? What is my reason behind this? And it's kind of interesting because everything is so um plastered on social media these days. Everything we do, if we have, we decorate our Christmas tree to make it really cute for the Christmas morning photos. We make our dinner plate look pretty so I can make a quick Snapchat. Everything is on social media and everything is about being picture perfect. So to have something so close to our hearts and such a big part of our life to not be seen by anybody, it brings it back to reality. What are we doing and why are we here? So
I love it. So, music has played a big role in your life and in your service. What do you think music does in people that words sometimes can't?
I love that because I think as humans, we are not all very literate, like we're not always perfect at expressing. I think there's like a vibration in music that can be recognized and heard by anybody. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter how quiet or loud it is. I find myself often praying through music without saying a word, sitting at the keyboard at my house or strumming a guitar. I think it's almost another way that your heart can be released without having to put together this perfect vocal speech, if that makes sense. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I love it. Has Tell me, do you feel like because there is music involved that's allowed you to cross barriers and walls that you probably would have never been able to cross otherwise?
Yes, I do not think my grandpa, relating back to me personally, I do not think my grandpa would have ever said, I'm going to take my granddaughter into this all male prison with me today. It was because I'm gonna take my family who plays music into this prison with me today to
Okay.
offer a form of worship before I preach. I would say because of things like that, having the ability to play music has allowed me to be put in opportunities where I was able to serve and, yeah, I also I think it's a good conversation starter, like, when we have visitors at church, they always come up to the musicians right after church and say, "I loved hearing your violin. I love that song you sang." I think it's just a different I don't know, it's something that everybody kinda connects to. I don't know anybody who doesn't love music, so I think it's just like a way to connect with everybody, so, yeah.
I was at a funeral once, and the kid that was singing, is an Osmond, and the Osmond family is a huge musical family here, from Utah, but
Mm.
I loved what he said. He said that music, um, is the ability to express feelings we don't otherwise know how to express.
Mhm.
And I was like,
Exactly.
"Oh my goodness, that is so true,
That is
that
very true.
music allows us to express things that are
Mhm.
just there's
Yep.
no other way to do it."
Yes. So true.
Mhm. All right. Pregnancy and season of life. So tell me, you're currently pregnant, which is
Mhm.
so exciting. You're headed into a new season.
Yes.
How old's your baby? Your daughter?
My daughter is 5.5.
Oh, she's not a
So
baby anymore.
she's not a baby. No,
They go so fast, don't
they
they?
do.
Oh,
Yes.
depressing. But how has this changed your definition of success and pace? What do you see in the upcoming months as you get prepared to welcome another little baby into
Yeah.
this world?
Well, first of all, we're so, so excited. We've been wanting this for a couple of years. So it's brought so much joy into our home. I cannot wait to see my little girl become a big sister. She already is so connected with her little sibling. She comes and kisses my belly all the time and says, I love you, baby sibling. And she'll rub my belly. You're so sweet, baby sibling. So it's so sweet. But I think it's gonna mature me even more because I will say, after my first daughter was born, I grew up in a way that I never thought I was gonna grow up. I am very interested to see how being a mother to 2 will change me. I'm a little nervous, but very excited. So
That is awesome. Tell me, what does it look like, now with you're busy, you're super active. influencing, all those sort of things. What does it look like? How does it change? And how important is it to you that you honor your body, the new baby, and just all of that, all this, the new calling all at the same time?
Yeah, I think to make sure that, again, I don't get too wrapped up in social media. And again, that's why I even took the break a couple years back. And to make sure that family always comes first. So I'm going to be careful not to take on too many collaborations or too many deadlines or tell people, yeah, I'll make this post for you by this day. Cuz that's not always reality. And that hit hard when I started getting a little bit sick with this pregnancy and the first trimester exhaustion and nausea and all the things hit you. I was like, I should not have made so many commitments. And thankfully, everybody has been very graceful with me. Um, but yeah, I think it will change the way that I make commitments outside of my home for sure.
I love that. Tell me, what coming back, what were the changes that you did make after your break? How long did you take a break for?
I think it was about 6 months,
6 months?
maybe a little less than 6 months. Yeah.
How did you show up differently? Like, what were the changes you made? What are the little tweaks you've made to, you know
Yeah. I wanted to make sure I did not let myself get into a place where I felt bound to social media. I made sure that I was not being sucked into it when I needed to focus on mental health outside of my phone, spiritual health outside of my phone, and personal relationships outside of the phone. I made sure not to get back to a place where um, that the phone was bounding me to it. So, yeah. And
what kind
that's
of boundaries? Did you set up any boundaries? Do you have, like, quiet hours? Like, I feel like
yes. Yeah. So Monday in my home, Monday is I am off the grid from society. And sometimes I still get on my phone on Mondays, but I say no to everything. If somebody says, "Do you want to meet up for lunch Monday?" No, I'm busy. Can you do this for me Monday? No, I'm busy. I am in my house on Mondays. I do not leave my house on Mondays and Thursday, typically Thursdays as well. Sometimes I make, sometimes I go places on Thursdays, but Mondays and Thursdays are my at home day with my daughter. And sometimes I am deep organizing the kitchen cabinet. Sometimes I'm just laying in bed watching a movie with my little girl. But yeah, Mondays and Thursdays, I have made the commitment, though, that is my boundary, that is my time with my little girl and with myself. And I don't care if the neighbor's house is on fire. I'm not leaving my house on Monday. So
that is I actually I do not believe you for 1 second that you would not leave your house on Mondays if
I
your neighbor's house was on fire.
I would at least I would call 911 for them. I
Well,
would.
that's very kind.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right. So how do you want your platform to serve people long term? Where do you see your platform in 10 years from now?
Hopefully, it is not another place where women scroll by and see another advertisement, something else they have to buy, they have to have. I don't want to be another girl on social media who is just sharing my, picture perfect life, making anybody else feel bad for their messy home, making anybody feel bad that their outfits aren't perfectly curated and that they don't have the newest trends. I don't want to be that way. I want to be the opposite. I want to be a real life mom who's just sharing inspiration, um, whether it's the modest fashion or the homemaking. I want it to be an inspiring place without being a condemning place
Oh,
where,
I love that.
because I follow accounts that I love. It's so inspirational how beautiful their homes are. And I'm like, this gives me inspiration to redecorate. But part of you is kind of condemning, like, I can't drop $1,000 right now on all this newest Christmas decor that she's sharing. So
Right.
there's a balance. I want to be inspirational without being condemning. So,
That's wonderful. What kind of legacy do you hope to leave online and in real life?
First of all, in life, because that's the most important, I want people to look back and say, that if God opened the door for me to do it, that I would get my hands dirty and do it. Whether that was raising babies, homeschooling, cleaning my house, or serving in the prisons, or serving in the nursing homes, or doing anything for anybody. Um, I want to be remembered as the person who was not afraid to get down and dirty and be knee deep in mud to serve others.
I love that. So sweet. What, what does enough look like this season?
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I have my storage boxes right here in my living room with Christmas decor that I did not put out this year. And I am telling myself that's okay. I'm not going to overdo it and press over. I do have this little tree that I did put up. Um, well, it's tall. It's not little. It's just a skinny tree. I only put that up because my mom bought it for me and, gave it to me. Um, I will say I'm not going to try to keep up, just because everybody else's house is so pretty right now for Christmas and they're going to all the Christmas events. I did not do Christmas cards this year. We usually do that. So I've been very relaxed on thinking I'm not going to look back in 5 years and think, oh, I never put up, my Christmas decor. I never sent out cards. I'm not going to look back. I'm going to think, oh, remember that year I was newly pregnant with our baby number two and we were so happy. That's what I want to look back. So enough is enough because I'm not going to overdo it and get caught in the holiday rush just to keep up with trends and traditions that I feel like I have to do. So,
Oh, it's so good advice. What wonderful
mhm.
advice. Okay, the last little bit is just a bunch of shotgun questions. You just gotta answer them as they come out. So I want quick answers straight from the heart.
'Kay.
Music or silence when you need to reset?
Soft worship music.
Easy. That's an easy question. Private faith moments or shared testimony?
There is so much beauty in both, so I cannot give an answer for that.
I love it. Creative flow or structured routine?
Again, both, but I really like structure when it comes to homeschooling my little girl, and I really like creative flow when it comes to pretty much everything else in life.
One boundary that's protected your peace.
The Mondays at home, the Mondays and Thursdays at home that I talked about, for sure.
I love that. I love that. A song that feels like worship to you.
Ooh, so I'll throw up my hands. The Gratitude song by Brandon Lake. Yes, I love that song.
Love that song. Ooh, I do you know that song, Princess? Oh, I need to hear that song.
That's so
Okay, I
good.
don't know that song. A quiet service or public encouragement.
Mm, I think depending on who it is and what they need at the time. Yeah. I'm not giving very direct, I'm sorry. Some of these they
No,
have
I
to
love
have
it.
there's
Yeah,
reasons
I
for
love
both.
it. And then this season in one word.
Very joyful and thankful, a little bit chaotic, a little bit messy. That was a lot more than one word, but I'm just gonna say
Joyful, thankful, chaotic, and messy.
yes, yes.
The perfect combination for life, I think.
Mhm.
And that what would be to someone listening, a woman listening, a young woman listening, or anyone honestly, what would be your one little phrase of advice?
Don't get too caught up in one single day or one single moment or decision of your life. Life is built on bricks that come on top of each other. Don't get so stuck on one thing. And I wish I could tell myself that every day. I get too focused on, my house is a mess today, so my life is ruined. And or I said this to this person and I hope they didn't take it the wrong way. I'm just like spiraling in my brain because, of this one thing I said and they didn't even listen to what I said. So there was no need to sit there, laying in bed all anxious over one thing. So don't get too focused on any one moment or decision in your life.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on today. You have been just one of my very most favorite influencers. I've been following
That's
you
so
for
sweet.
a long time, and I appreciate your example of what it really looks like to be, as our Savior would have us be, and to follow His example. And I hope and pray that this baby will be strong and healthy, and your pregnancy will get a little bit easier.
Thank you.
Um,
Yes.
and again, just thanks so much for taking the time to be on with us today.
Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity. I feel very honored. Thank you.
Well, you're very, very welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I want a little friendly reminder until next time. Let your choices shape the world you want to see and love every layer of your life. Mwah.